we go. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to How to Become a Sales Warrior podcast episode number 4. My partner and co-host, Ty White, is not here today, but filling in his shoes is a good friend of mine, Chris Looney. Say hello, Chris.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Chris, what company are you with?
I am with Nature Tech Solutions. We're a plant medicine company. We do a lot of natural medicine products.
So you have my book at home. You've read some of it.
Yes, I have.
So part of the reason we're here for people like you who are in sales that are way younger than me. I like to say it like that, way younger than me. And the idea is to help them get to the ranks that I've gotten to faster. Not have to put 20 years in to get to the top. Because that's basically what's happened for me, where my last 3 years have been my most successful years and the other 17 sucked.
It's a building process.
It's a building process, but the goal here with the book is to cut out some of the bullshit, cut out some of the things that stop you from being successful just because you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I learned at my company is we hire people, but we don't give them the proper training. We think, oh, you're a sales guy, you should know what to do, but every sales guy needs some kind of structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the idea for this book is give direction, cut to certain things that will really benefit you in the long run. Mm-hmm. And again, it's an easy read. You've read a few chapters.
Yeah, I definitely, I recommend it. We have a sales team at my company. They call smoke shops, different, customers in our industry. And it's like you said, it's a learning process. It's one, they got to learn the industry. They got to learn the ins and outs, the lingo. And then it's learning how to talk to people and then how to close the sale.
It was funny. Last week I was going out to Vegas and I just downloaded my book. I hadn't listened to the Audible since it was uploaded. And I listened to it on the way out, and all of a sudden we got to chapter 12. I'm like, trade show. I'm going to a trade show. Let me listen real carefully. And I started, I'm like, wait a minute, I wrote this book. I know what I gotta do, but it was nice to refresh and hear it, what I was thinking and what could help people. And I got there and I had 2 men working for me from the team, and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. And they're like, no. This is my show. We're going to do it this way because this is the way it's going to work. And we actually had 3 days, 145 scans of people who were interested.
Oh, wow.
Got a call this morning for my first IF move from California to Rhode Island. Closed a sale in my hotel room from a woman who was walking the floor who had a project back here on Long Island.
Wow.
Making things happen.
Yep,
so following my own guideline.
Yeah.
What we'd like to do now is go into the book. So I always like to pull something out of the book that could be helpful. And the action statement I'm going to read first because it really hits home today because it's someone who left my company this past week. Should you quit a job if what they're asking you to do is the wrong way to do it? Now, I'm going to tell you a story for myself. I used to work for the New York Islanders. And my first year there, we had this holiday pack where you gave a certain amount of games and you give them a puck, you give them a coupon for a dinner. So it's a pretty attractive package.
Yeah.
And you can sell a lot and build up an arsenal of extra stuff when people just called in looking for a ticket or two. So you kind of like got this little side hustle going on, but you got this holiday pack going on. Well, this year's holiday pack, the first game was against the Penguins. You know hockey?
Actually, no.
Okay. Fierce division rival.
Uh-huh.
We sold out the game. We probably had sold almost 5,000 holiday packs.
Wow.
You could not get your holiday pack until game day. It was left at will call. When I heard this, I went down there on Wednesday. I went to will call and I said, here's a list of all my clients. I want to take these right now. Sure. Packed them all up in a bag. I went home, organized them, put them in nice bags for all my clients, a couple extra pucks here, a couple extra pucks there. Get to the game. Everyone's milling around, and all of a sudden, game's 7:15 game. People are starting to come in at 6:30. I'm in the lobby. I'm handing out, meeting my clients, handing them out, meeting my clients. By 7 o'clock, I'm done. I had 55 holiday packs, 55 customers in the door. I looked outside, and the line was around the building. All those people were coming for their holiday pack. They only had 2 people in will call.
Oh, jeez.
For 5,000 people. And if you know anything about being an Islander fan, is you always get the short end of it. You always get the short end of it from the Islanders management, the people in charge, somehow, some way. So I was feeling really good about myself. Some people didn't get in until the beginning of the second period. It was that bad. Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm on cloud nine. All of a sudden, I go walking by my boss, and he goes, "Make sure you're down in the lobby for halftime." Sure. And I go down there at halftime, and he goes, "Edelman, what the fuck you think you're doing?" What? Were you standing in the lobby handing out your holiday packs? I said, "Yeah." You embarrassed this team. You embarrassed everybody in this room. You don't do that here. They go to will call to pick up their stuff. And I just like said, "Whoa, do you realize there are people who are still outside at the beginning of the second period?" I don't give a fuck about the customers. That's not my problem. They should have gotten here earlier. If you ever do something like that again, you're fired. I was shaken. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around, I don't give enough about the customers. I'm embarrassing the boys who were lazy and just put their stuff at will call. And yet, he made me feel like I was doing the wrong thing. And that was the action statement is leaving the company worth your morale, whatever you believe in.
I think 100%. If you don't wake up every day and love what you're doing and believe in it, then you're not doing a good job at it. You'll never be able to put your full self into it. So if you're at a job and you feel they're not doing the right thing, I think it is the right thing to move on. You know?
I do too. Because he ended up firing me 6 weeks later, and it was one of those things where you're just like, you horrible little man. And I swear, if I ever saw the guy on the street, I'd push him down. I swear. I'm not kidding, because after hearing the feedback from my clients, Islander fans talk.
Yeah.
They talk. Everyone knows what's going on. They were laughing. They were laughing at the other guys. They were making fun of the people that came in late. They were embarrassed, and word did get back. I didn't do it to embarrass anyone. No, I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do, right way to handle your business.
Yeah.
You're making commission off these people, and I equated, and I wanted to say this at the time, and I didn't. You buy tickets from your broker. Do you let him sit online halfway through the concert, wait for his tickets? Or do you make sure he has his tickets walking in the door? I know it's different now with digital, but back then it was a physical ticket.
It's any kind of sales, you got to take care of the customer, and if you're going above and beyond, you're going to retain that customer. They're going to keep buying tickets again from you next season, and I think in that situation, you did the right thing,
Believe me, the follow-up I got from everybody was admirable and nice, but it made, my job was more or less.
Yeah.
It was more or less done. I chose to do something that I thought was right. And listen, when I got let go, it was like a big weight off my shoulder.
Yeah.
I have ADD when I was a kid, still probably have it now. And I thought getting a job, working for the Islanders, my favorite team, that was going to be the most amazing experience. And half it was. No. Half of it was amazing. The other half was just pure horror. And I wrote the book. A buddy of mine I just got to know recently. We started talking. He said he wrote a book, but he hasn't published. So I sent him the link for my book. He bought it. He reads it. He texts me. He goes, "I work for the Islanders too. I had the same problems. They didn't believe in customer service." And then thanked me to motivate him to publish his book. So
that's awesome.
Joe Crippo, publish your book. So we're done with the action statement. We'd like to go into networking tips, and you do your own version of that. You told me you went out to a trade show last week. We'll get to some trade show tips. Where are you networking these days?
In my industry, it's a close-knit industry. There's a lot of industry events. People that are in the cannabis space and the natural medicine space. There's a lot of events with the OCM, who runs the licensing in New York State. So we'll go to all those events, and just very important to be in the industry, be active, be out in the fields, connecting with other people that are doing the same thing.
So I like to help people with with their networking, with networking tips, because I do a lot of events. I probably do 4 or 5 a month. And, I see a lot of rookies out there, and some of them are my age, guys who never were outside sales reps are now all of a sudden sales reps. Yeah. And some of them are just a mess. So I like to give 3 good tips each week. Comment your thoughts from that. One of the biggest things that I do is try to connect other people before I try to connect myself. So when I'm talking with somebody about what they do, I let them speak as long as they want to speak, tell me about what they do. And while they're telling me what they do, I'm going through my Rolodex of people who I might be able to do an email introduction afterwards.
Yeah.
Be a giver. Give to them before you even ask for anything.
Absolutely.
Just try to show them that I'm not worried about a sale. I'm just worried about you remembering me. Because that's all you have to do is just remember me. Moving, storage. That's it. That's all you have to remember. I'm moving or I'm renovating the house. I met a guy.
Yeah.
I got a lot of, we met someone. You remember me? Sure. Of course I remember you. I just say that because it makes him feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember you. How can I help you? Right into it. How can I help you? So being the guy who's willing to offer the connections before he's willing to take something for himself allows me an opportunity to be someone who doesn't need to get something to do something. And that's really important.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Any way you can make a connection with someone and, like you said, not trying to sell them right off the bat, but try to help them with their business. I made a connection at that trade show we was just at in Vegas. And one of the people I was talking to was a large distributor. And instead of going right into trying to sell my product, I put him in connection with something he told me he was looking for. And I set that email thread up, and they appreciate that. And, and like you said, then they remember you. And then when they do need something and you're the guy who has it, they're going to give you a call.
100%. 100%. I have guys on my team who want more product. You are what you are. You're in a different vertical than I am. You have different products. I'm a box.
Yeah.
I'm a 3-size box. Don't try to fit where we don't fit. Don't try to sell what we don't do. Don't push something that's not our sweet spot. Don't try to sell something that in the long run is not going to work.
Yeah.
If they need a 40-foot container or a tractor trailer, not their guy. Because those 3 storage containers that you'd rent from me to equal that tractor trailer will be more than that tractor trailer. So I always have a backup referral for them.
Important. Yeah.
Absolutely. I didn't get this sale. That's okay. I'll get the next sale. But I'm willing to help you. So when the vertical fits perfect, I'll get the sale. And that's just trust. That it comes to knowledge and trust. They trusted to call me. They trusted to listen to me. And then they trusted that I wasn't just trying to get the sale.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing I could tell to salesmen and women. If you walked away from the meeting not knowing if you closed the deal, you didn't.
Yeah. That's
that's
what a lot of people that are especially new to sales, that's what they lack is that the close. They're afraid to ask for the close. I see a lot of that. A lot of people that start off in my industry. My industry is phone sales. And I grew up around it. My dad was a stockbroker. It was always on the phones. I was playing with my toys as a kid in his office at night while he's hammering the phones calling California. So I just grew up around that dynamic and always got to get that close. Can't be afraid to ask for the credit card. You can't be afraid to talk about the money.
That is so key. We had that on the show last week. If you don't get the business, you're not going to get the business.
Yep.
You have to ask for it.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to ask for it.
Can't be afraid of the close.
What's the worst thing they say to you? No.
Exactly. People are afraid of the rejection. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting your product.
Your product.
And people take that rejection personal.
It's funny. In sales, you're going to be rejected 95%.
Oh, yeah. It's rejection is part of sales, and you got to learn to deal with it. It's not personal. They're rejecting your product, not you.
Where do you look to find networking opportunities? You mentioned, your verticals, but there's other places to go. Where do you look?
I'm always, my business partner is actually his title is head of business development. So he is always looking for shows, networking events, industry events. If I come across something, I actually came across something this morning. It was a licensing expo.
Oh,
Has nothing to do with our industry, but maybe it's a good thing to go there. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to connect with, and then it ends up becoming something.
I thought I had seen it all in networking. You know Chris Looney?
I don't.
He's a realtor. He invites me to an event at this beautiful place out on Conqueror on the water, a networking event, high end, very, very high end. You know, it was $100 to go there. And they had vendors. They had the Cuban cigar guy. They had the DJ. They had all these vendors there. They paid money to be there as well. Great event. Attended well. Food was terrific. Drinks were good. But I walked up and there was a table, and it was cannabis. And I just stood there, and he's got, you know, all the cool jars. He's got pre-rolls. He's got all this stuff going on. And I'm like, and then the kid orders his whatever he's ordering, and then he takes out his phone and he Venmos them. And I look at the girl and I look at the guy, and I put my arm around both of them. I said, I don't know in what world I ever thought that this would be acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay. Legal.
Yeah, it's
like it blew my mind that,
yeah,
wow, we've come a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell people all the time, you know, when I was in high school, if we had a little bag of weed in our pockets, we had to jump in the bushes if the cops were coming,
100%.
you know, and now we're coming into an era where you're going to be able to go in 7-Eleven to get something.
Yeah.
You know, it's becoming mainstream. And in my opinion, it should be, you know. It's 100 times safer than alcohol. And we've been selling alcohol to people for hundreds of years.
Well, they did have prohibition at one time.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump into trade show because I just came back from one. I was in Vegas for a week. I mentioned earlier, I listened to my Audible on the way out there. I've already knocked down my first sale, and I'm on the process of closing my second deal. You know, my company is really big on ROI, and I'm basically in charge of providing that information for them. Did we get one? And I don't just do shows to do shows. I do shows to prove results. Results are ROI. And I'm very, very excited that, you know, a week out, I already got two sales in the butt. One of them is an IF. IF meaning it's going from one state to another, but it's going from California to here, and it's a big ticket.
Yeah.
So we're within one sale of already breaking even, and we're only a week out of the show.
That's huge.
So
that's huge.
Trade show tips, things that I do that are extremely valuable. When the show is over, ask for the roster of attendees. It's usually for sale.
It usually it is.
It's rarely free.
Yeah.
Smaller shows where you know the host, you can get a free one, and I do. I've done that many a times where I sold 3 extra booths. I'm like, give it a roster. But this particular show, they want money for it. So, you know, all right, fine. You didn't see everyone who was there.
Impossible.
I saw 162 people out of 100,000 that were at the 4 buildings. So it literally was the entire convention center, buildings 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Wow.
Over 100,000 people went there. So, you know, you spent all this money to be there. You did the lead retrieval machine. You got your 163 leads. Are you done? Oh.
No.
Get the roster.
Yeah.
Spend the money. Get the roster.
Definitely worth it. You know, the show that I actually just came back from Vegas myself. It was at the Champs Trade Show 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's an industry trade show, a lot of smoke shop owners and whatnot. And you're in the building with all these people that all year long you're calling them. You know, you're trying to get these people on the phone, and for 4 or 5 days, you're in the same room as them. So you got to make as many connections as possible. And like you said, following up when you get back. But for example, the Champs Trade Show, they charge for that roster, and it's not cheap.
It's not cheap, but you know, if you have 100,000 people, you could live off that list for 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to call 100,000 people.
Yeah. And it's active people too. You know, you might purchase a list from somebody else that wasn't, you know, at a trade show. Half of those people are no longer even in the business.
So you know about SEO and all that fun algorithm stuff. I did a show in Connecticut last year, Apartment Association. Show's over. They sent me the roster. Within 3 days, an outside company emails me, would you like the roster of all the attendees for the exact show I went to? How do they get it? So is it sold?
So what a tactic that we'll use, and a lot of people are using now, is called geofencing. So it basically will collect all the IP addresses of all the people that were at the show physically, and then it'll go online and try and pick those people's phones and emails and generate lists.
Wow.
So technology's coming into play on that.
Wow. So I got to find a smart person to avoid paying for the roster.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's crazy. When we were at the show, I had to give a quick lesson on etiquette. I'm a professional. I have walked over 300 trade shows. I've participated in over 200 in the past 12 years.
Wow.
I've seen enough to put it in a book
Yeah.
and talk about it. And like within the first 10 minutes of being at the show, one of the guys whips out his computer and starts working. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I got this old rush order I got to take care of. I'm like, turn your phone off, turn the computer off, put it away.
Yeah.
We're not here answering phone calls. You're out of town.
Yeah.
Your out of town message should be on.
Yeah.
Your phone message as well, your email. You're out of town. I want your focus here.
Yeah.
They see you walk by. Oh, I saw everyone who walked by. I said, we don't do this.
Yeah.
Put it away now. So he did. He put it away. I like to use the phrase a barker when you walk by and someone just says something at you, like a dog. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like a dog barking.
Yeah.
And I literally had to, come here. Sit down. What? And there's actual science. So we were at the end of an aisle. Most of the people were walking this way. He was standing on the edge of our aisle. So when he got to them and barked at them, they were already past the booth. They had to turn completely around. And then most of the time, they just kept walking.
Yeah.
So he was being aggressive, which is good if it works, but bad if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Me personally, I have really good eyes. I can see far away really well. Can't see anything in front of me, but I stand at the closest part as they're coming up looking at the other booths, trying to identify their badge name.
Yeah.
That they put on pretty big. You can read the first name. And as soon as they get right where I am, I'd call their name out and ask them point blank, do you have any storage needs on the job site? 5 simple words. No barking, no screaming, no attacking. No, we're all good. And you read eyes. Don't try. Don't keep. He said no.
Yeah.
Let him go. Don't be that annoying asshole that just keeps going and going.
Yeah.
Read the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, when someone walks by and they look up, I got a big, huge pots container. They could see it.
Yeah.
And they go like this. No. And you see them, you recognize the face. They're not interested. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
I had to point this out to someone who's never done a show with me. I do it a certain way. And the certain way is learn from your failures. Learn from things that didn't work.
Yeah.
Stick with things that do work. Less is better. Calling out a name just because that gets their attention.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I walk by a booth and the guy said, hey, Eddie, I'm like, hey. Oh, yeah. I got fooled by the same thing, but it works. And you can elevate you only get a 15-second pitch.
Yeah.
So all you have from the time he walks from here to the edge of the booth, you got 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Make it interesting. I can honestly say we had 164 people come over to the table by doing it that way. So that's just one of those in-booth tips that I like to share because this guy would have been barking for 3 days and we would have gotten nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I didn't pay $5,000 for my table to walk away with nothing because our approach wasn't good. The way we spoke to people was like he would use our terminology, not realizing they don't know our terminology. You know, if I said to you on-site, off-site, you'd have to think for a second. What do you on-site, off? You're now confusing them.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just get to the point. Any storage needs? Done. You see the big box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, my logo is there. You could see
Yeah.
the big, huge box. So again, educating people. And I felt it was my duty because I was running the show to keep these men in line, to make sure they were doing it the right way. And I proved right, you know. And the funny thing is the follow-up. So I asked each man to send me what email that they were going to send as a follow-up to everyone we saw, to the people in their territory. They both had the same email. And I sent over mine. Now, I'm in a world where 98% of my emails are short. 5 sentences at best, maybe 3.5. Less is more, that kind of thing. But if I met you at a show and I talked to you, I want to relive that conversation that we had at the show in the email. And the other guy actually critiqued me and said, why would you put all this baloney in here? Why would you bring up what happened at the show? And I'm like, I sent out 28 emails. All 28 were open. 13 responded. How did you do?
Yeah.
He hadn't even done his yet. So here he is critiquing me, telling me that I put too much stuff in the email. No, I talked about the show. That was a great 3 days. It was exciting to see people. And then I said, this is a couple of things that you and I talked about.
Yeah.
But it just blew my mind. And then this is the person who is selling 5 times less than me.
Yeah.
So it's, again, one of those things where you're not really respecting someone who has the experience and has the numbers to show it. Maybe pipe down. You
got to be willing to learn. You see it a lot in sales. People come in, they're cocky. They think they know what they're doing, and they don't want to take advice.
No.
You always got to be willing to learn.
And that was why I asked to see theirs. I wanted to see what they were going to send. I'm like, that's your quick bullshit email that you're just trying to get a little attention. This was a conversation.
Yeah, helping them relive that moment.
The email you're sending to the other people, you never met them. You didn't speak to them. You didn't spend time with them. This person I actually spent time with, and I want to relive that 2 minutes that we spent together. That was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, because they probably went to 10, 15 other booths while they were there. You got to jog their memory a little bit, too, so they remember that conversation.
Well, we can up that to there were 1,500 booths.
Yeah, exactly.
Between the 4 buildings and then outdoor space.
Wow.
Dude.
Yeah, the Champ Show is just the one exhibit hall, and it's 2 floors. So I would say probably about 1,000, 2,500
Which
booths.
building was it in?
The main Las Vegas Convention Center.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's in that main building. It's the biggest trade show for our industry. They do it twice a year. They got a winter and a summer one.
So Vegas. You were in the front building.
We didn't have this particular one. We didn't have a booth.
No,
so I was walking the show.
You were in the West Hall.
Yeah, that front with the big glass window when you walk in. That's the first one. Yeah.
Here's my horrible story about the trade show. I picked my hotel because my hotel is right across the street from that building. Not checking my booth number. I was in the building furthest away, South Hall, all the way over in the corner. That literally was a traffic jam every single day to get there. We had to jump out of our Ubers every day because the traffic was just crazy.
Insane.
But I had picked my hotel because I would just walk right across the street.
Yeah.
Check what hall you're in. Check what hall you're in before you go book it. Because there was a hotel right next door, the Hotel Renaissance.
Yeah.
It was right there. And if
that's the one that's right next door.
I would have more than happily just walk right across the street. But no.
Yeah.
So we all lost a lot of time to Ubers. Ubers
did you use the monorail?
I did, but I did for fun on Sunday night when I went in.
Yeah.
It's only 4 cars. This thing was like overflowed, and people were cursing that they had to wait 2 and 3 trips for the thing to come back. It's not running like a subway schedule. It's just a sightseeing schedule, not really meant to bring people to and from the convention center because it doesn't fit that many. It's like 30 people in the car. That's it.
Yeah. I guess the show that I went to is obviously not as big, so we didn't have those problems. But
did you go to the Sphere?
I did not go inside of it, but we could see it from our hotel room window, and it was just incredible.
So I made a team decision to take the team out to a night there.
That's awesome.
And it was I think it was called Tour America. Inside, it's very steep seating, very steep. And it goes all the way up to the top. And, Tour America was just, you ever been to Disney?
I have.
Epcot?
Yeah.
There's that ride that you feel like you're flying across the country. This was that on steroids.
Yeah.
On steroids.
I can imagine.
When that screen, the whole place lit up. The entire Sphere on the inside. So what's going on inside, you don't see outside. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It was you feeling like you were flying across the Rockies. And when you look to the left, because you could see the stadium seats ends here and the stadium ends here, you felt like you were fucking flying, man. It was so cool, and it was 55 minutes. It was the highest level of HD you could find, and the sound system was just rocking. It was
I can imagine.
And for a Monday night, there was 5,000 people there.
Yeah,
on a Monday night.
Yeah.
It was great. We had a really good time. So we're going to go to a commercial break. We are at old-fashioned time, so that is the time that Ty and I usually tie in an old networking way with a new networking way, something that's similar yet different, but getting the same results. So you and I are going to play that game. We're going to take a break right now. That's the feel. Welcome back, everybody, to How to Become a Sales Warrior. I'm Eddie Pods. My guest here is Chris Looney, filling in for Ty White as my co-host today. I think I introduced it before, but I'll share again. He is the CEO and co-founder of Nature Tech Solutions. Welcome, Chris. You've done a fine job of filling in for Ty. I do appreciate you,
Thank you. Absolutely.
having the courage to sit here for an hour, and you're doing a great job. So why don't you give me a little background on your company and what your main product is that you're actually looking to promote today?
Okay. Well, a little bit about Nature Tech Solutions is we're a natural medicine company.
Cheers, by the way.
So Ed is having an old fashioned. I'm actually having a kava drink, and kava is a natural alternative to alcohol.
You get buzzed off it?
You do. So
Okay.
It affects your brain the exact same way that alcohol does, with none of the negatives. No
DUI.
No DUI. No hangover. You feel great the next morning. You actually get a nice afterglow from it. And that's what Nature Tech Solutions is all about. And what we're looking to promote today is our new software that we just came out with. It's called Ask Mother Nature. It's free for anyone to use. You go to askmn.ai. And basically, it is an AI language model that we trained with over 20 million data points on plant medicine. So right now, if you were to Google kava, you're going to see 3 articles about how great it is. You're going to read 3 about how terrible it is. And it's all this misinformation. So we created this software so people could get honest, scientific-backed information on plant medicines.
Wow. That's a diversion for what you were doing.
Yeah.
So a little background with me and Chris. Chris here helped me design this. He also he did design my website. I mean, I helped him with the creation part, but he created my website, Eddie, howtobecomeasaleswarrior.com. And he is a good friend of Ty White's. They've known each other since they were kids. I wish he was here today to make that old-fashioned connection. So the old-fashioned connection for me and Ty is doing something old that works and doing something new, whether it be networking, whether it be sales. What do you have in a new world for solutions?
Right now, I think the newest thing in sales that's a huge help, and we're implementing it at our company, is using AI. We're using an AI software right now for our sales team. So it actually will record all their phone calls. It will jot down notes, and it'll actually give them key points from that phone call.
Wow.
With every phone call they do, they never have to write a thing down. And if they said in that phone call that they're going to send this as a sample, that's written down in those key points. And it's all done automatically.
You have your phone wired to AI?
It's all through the computer. So they have a headset set up right next to their computer at their desk. And we use a system. It's called Close. I'm not promoting the system.
We want to know what you're using that's working.
It's a fantastic system. And, it just eliminates that, what did I say during that phone call? Trying to jog your memory and remember, what did we talk about last time? The system actually gives you those talking points. So when you go to follow up, it says, last time he talked about he was going to his kid's baseball game. So now that follow-up call, you have
Hey, did your kid win this game?
Exactly. You have that personal connection.
It's funny where I was like, well, okay, how am I playing off this? How am I playing off this? Legal pad. So for me, my AI is a legal pad.
Yeah.
When I get on the phone with somebody, I let them talk their heart out. But while they're talking, I'm writing. And I'll throw a few questions, not to interrupt, just a couple.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they get done speaking, I have at least 5-6 sentences of everything you just said down.
Yeah.
Old school ways, put it on paper.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah.
And that piece of paper gets flipped over and I start new and it gets, we sold this one. This one gets pulled out, gets into the fold bin. So, the old way of doing it, I still do it every day. And it's not that I'm against the AI way. I would need someone to come into my office and sit me down and show me how to do it because I'm not artificially intelligent.
No.
And I have to put it that way.
Yeah,
I'm not dumb. I just need extra lessons on how to use technology.
Absolutely.
You know, there are many men my age that just refuse.
And that's the downside to it. You know, it's people that are refusing to use it, refusing to let it come in. You know, I think people should adapt to it. And like yourself, you know, you're willing to adapt to the change. And if it's something that helps and benefits you, well, why not use it?
Children are my adaptation. I have 5 kids ranging in the age of 35 to 15. One has an MBA, one's a college graduate, one's a veterinarian tech, one's rocking it in college, and one's a sophomore in high school. I actually got that all right. Yeah. But they all bring different elements of technology. Much of it's similar. You know, the TikTok world for me is somebody else's Instagram or somebody else's LinkedIn. So we all have our own way of seeing things. You could call it a reel, call it a video, call it a commercial. You could call it 10 different things.
Yeah,
I call it video, you call it reel, old and new. It's the same example applies there. But what I've learned is I didn't stay in touch with my father because he didn't stay in touch with what was coming new. He wanted to stay in his old ways. And I saw him drifting away from what we're doing in life and not really staying on top or even caring what we're doing. No. I don't want to know, where for myself, I want to stay connected to my kids. I ask the questions. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. So I'm learning. They're integrating these new technologies and new softwares, and it keeps me, I believe it keeps me current, you know, and then I surround myself with guys like you and Ty, little older, little more experience with the technology. Listen, I want to come talk to you about that software.
Absolutely.
Can you do it on your cell phone, or it has to be done on the computer?
It works best through the computer. They have a cell phone app. But when you're using it on the computer, it'll auto dial. So you load in your lead list and it'll call next to next to next, automatically taking notes for you. So it takes that out of the picture.
Love to try it. Not that I'd ever go away because I'm a I don't want to look something up. I just want to turn to the page.
Yeah.
Okay. We talked a little earlier about books. I still read books because I don't read books. I listen to books, but I don't read books on the phone. Yeah. On the computer. It's just not for me. So for my customers, I got files in my file cabinet. July, August, September. And inside that file is all my orders and all my receipts for that month. And it's kind of like my system. And it's my history, my library. Not against it, but I don't need to now convert it. What for? That'd be a waste of time. Yeah. Honestly, within 3 months, I'll throw them in the garbage. So again, you could have space, cloud space. You could have space in your file cabinet. Yeah. Old and new. Yeah, absolutely. Cheers to that. It's the same thing.
Absolutely.
So tell us about some of the other products that you guys are. I know you do a lot of packaging for different various products. What's your specialty?
So at one of our brands, Jolly Green Oil, we started as a CBD company back in 2017, and now we're a plant medicine company. We sell kava products, we sell Blue Lotus products. Newest product is Mad Honey, and we're getting into cannabis.
You know, usually we wait to the end, but I want to bring this up. We usually go with big wins and best new connections. And being that you're with me today, we're going to do that. But I want you to tell me about your best new connection, because you gave me a tip earlier. I know what it is. Yeah. But I'm excited for you. Go.
Yeah, absolutely. So we recently just partnered with some new investors, and they already sell some of their products in Target, Walmart, CVS, big box retail, and they were able to immediately plug our products into those spaces.
So they tried to sell you to let them come on board, be part of your company, almost like Shark Tank, where they're telling you that they're in the industry, they got the connections, you want to partner up for us, we'll give you X amount of dollars, we get X amount of percentage of the business. And how quickly does that deal happen?
That deal happened very quickly. You know, it was these two guys that came in. They're very interested in the space. You know, cannabis is hot right now, especially, you know, people that are looking to invest and get in on it. You know, it's the end of prohibition, you know, so it's like the alcohol boom in the 1920s. It's, you know, happening all over again. So, you know, we had a lot of offers from different people, but, you know, we aligned ourselves with these guys because they're connections to these major big box retail stores.
Obviously, your general counsel did a thorough look through on them, made sure they were legit. Yeah, absolutely. What did any red flags pop up, or any concerns pop up? Anything that you were worried about, or were some of the other companies, were there some red flags?
In the past, we've had investment deals where we've got burned and taken advantage of. Obviously, we were two young guys with an exploding company. I started this when I was 19. So
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
Oh wow, my son is 25. Holy shit.
Yeah. So we started this young, and it exploded out of nowhere for us, and we got burned in the past. So now when we partner with someone, we do that research and that due diligence.
So where do you see the company going in the next 5 years? I like the 5-year projection because I'm on a 5-year projection. My 5-year projection is to be in South Carolina on a lake with a boat, working remotely. That is my 5-year plan. What is yours?
We want to change the world. We want to get people natural medicine. Alcohol is poison. And it's been legal and it's been normalized. To a point where when you don't drink, people look at you a little funny. Like,
you pregnant?
Yeah, it's to me that's crazy. It's all these natural alternatives. If you want to escape for a little bit, you want to relax. Smoke a joint. Have some kava. Have something that's not going to harm you in the long run.
Do you know who Chris Russo is?
I do not.
Do you know who Chris Russo is? I'm asking the audience. Chris Russo used to be part of Mike and the Mad Dog.
Oh,
famous radio show, one of the first drive time radio shows that really just went to the next level. And he is a guest once a week on Stephen A. Smith's show, who I listen to every day. And we were talking about they were talking about the Super Bowl coming up, and he wasn't going to the Super Bowl, and he said he was going to get his chips in order, his soft drink in order, and his gummies in order. And I almost fell off my chair. He's probably 65, but probably right around the hippie age, maybe a little young. But it was so honest.
Yeah.
And it was so okay.
It's becoming, the stigma is dying, we like to say. It's, why was there a stigma around it in the first place,
Because it was illegal. That's it. That's the BS excuse, and I've had this debate with my wife 25 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's illegal. It's illegal. Oh, no, it's not illegal. What do you have to say about that? Shut up, your But, it's true. The stigmatism. Why? There was this. Okay, so how many states now have legalized marijuana?
I don't know the exact number, but it's almost close to more than half now. I know that. And the federal government is close to legalization.
And they make a boatload of money.
They do. It's extra tax money. It's extra revenue for the states. It's a win-win for everybody, really.
So what other products do you think you're going to go into? What do you have your eye on? I know you're always thinking the future.
Yeah, well, right now one of our best sellers is sea moss, and sea moss is seaweed basically, and it comes from certain parts of the world, the stuff that we use, and it contains over 92 vitamins and minerals. So instead of taking 15 different vitamins in the morning, you can take this one thing.
Just a leaf.
We sell it in a gummy. We use sea moss extract. So eating one small gummy is equivalent to eating 3 grams of dried sea moss, which would be tough to stomach.
Do you do this at your facility in West Babylon?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I really would love to come see that because I always have this fascination of understanding. How did you know to pull it out of this thing? And how did you find out it had all these nutritional values?
Well, the nutritional values have been studied on sea moss for a very long time, and when we see a trend like this emerging, we look at it and we say, how can we perfect it? We have a team of very experienced chemists on board, got a good team of biotech guys that do the research and the engineering and the best way to extract these things. And we work on developing a product, and once we're happy with it, we release it.
Why does everything have to be a gummy? I'm just curious.
It's the most popular form. It's not everyone can swallow a capsule. We offer capsules if that's what people want, but the most popular is gummies.
Of the sea moss, you offer it in a capsule form, or a gummy. Now, are there any calories in it?
The gummies have 1 gram of sugar in them. That's why they taste good. But 1 gram, you're not eating a whole pack of them like you would of regular candy. You're eating 1 in the morning.
I would hope not.
Yeah,
that's not.
You could,
Do you see any regulations coming in down the road that could prohibit you or enhance you?
Regular when we first started, we started making the stuff in my bedroom. CBD was an unregulated industry, and we've seen very, very strict regulations the last 2 years. And we're a fan of regulation. We're FDA registered, CGMP certified.
Keeps the
ISO
dirt
7.
bags out and the honest
It does.
people in.
It does. Yeah. So we're a fan of regulation. I like to see the government getting involved and really weeding out all those people that
No
are just
pun
making
intended.
stuff in their garage.
I guess they cut it. So I recently saw, and maybe you could comment to this. I guess the segment is going this direction. So they've shut down in Oklahoma and Northern and Southern California pot farms, huge 18 to 20 greenhouses that were Chinese owned, Chinese immigrants working there. These Chinese immigrants came through the border and they were able to shut them down. I guess I'm confused. If things are becoming so legal, why are people still doing it illegally?
The black market is always going to stay prevalent, in my opinion, just because of the amount of tax on it. So in New York State, for example, it's around a 40% tax. So you go to buy something for $100, you're paying $140.
Oh shit!
So that unfortunately, it keeps the black market alive.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that, and I was fascinated by this story because I just didn't understand. It's legal. You don't have to sneak and hide.
Yeah.
The real story there was that they were funneling the money back to China. That was their real. Yeah. Obviously, it was Fox News. I'll say it. My father-in-law was at his house, and I was like, "This is an interesting story." And my father was like, "What about the pot?" I'm like, "Don't worry, Dad. It's fine. It's fine. I thought that shit was legal. It is legal. Why are they arresting the Asian guys? I don't understand." I said, "They're sending the money back to China. Kill them!" Like, all right, Dad, settle down. He's 96, man. He gets ramped up on the politics of things. Yeah. I do love going over there because my wife's been staying with him for the past 2 months because he's just failing in health, but he's still got his marbles. And just to listen to him debate CNN against Fox, it's hilarious, man. It's a clown show, but that's all good. How many employees do you have right now?
Right now we got about 35 people on staff.
How's the sales leader? Who's the sales leader?
Our sales leader, his name is Anthony. He manages the team. We actually are bringing someone else on board to help him right now. Someone that knows my father from back in the Wall Street days, and they worked, at Stratton Oakmont, the famous Wolf of Wall Street story.
Wolf of Wall Street, of course.
Yeah, his name is John, and he's going to be coming in and building out a sales team. So we're looking right now to actually expand and build upon our sales force.
Now, I know the building you're in because I've been there. Do you see yourself having to expand out of that building?
Yes. So that building that we're in right now, once we obtain our cannabis license, that will be where we do all the cannabis side of things. And we're moving to another facility that's 25,000 square feet for all of the plant medicine, we call it. Are
you staying in West Babylon?
Yes. Yeah.
Landlord give you a friendly deal?
On the new place, we haven't found one yet. We're searching. We have to wait for this new licensing to come through on the cannabis on the existing.
I have a really good broker, commercial broker. He was our very first guest. Okay. He's the person that came up with the title of my book.
Okay,
and it's Chris Galuzzo.
You have to put me in touch.
I will put you in touch, Chris. He spent a lot of time of his career in commercial before he came to Long Island. Still does commercial. Did a couple of deals last year in Arizona with some. A buddy of mine was buying into not Rite Aids, not CVS's. What's the other one? There's one other. Walgreens, that was it. So they have a unique. I mean, I'm learning things, and the more I get to know people, the more I learn things that they never buy their buildings, and they end up leasing them back to the person who buys the building. Like, it's just this corporate way of doing things that, in my mind, why wouldn't you buy every building and in the end you release the building or sell the building for 3 times its value? But that's why they're billionaires and I'm not. I think they know a little bit more than me. I'm very simplistic when it comes to things. I have this simplistic way of looking at it. Like, it's that simple. No, it's not really that simple. But I got a buddy who owns 2 buildings that he leases to Walgreens. Guaranteed money. Yeah. They sign 25-year leases, and it's just guaranteed money. Yeah.
Those are the best tenants. Yeah.
So anyway, Chris helped do that. So I want to see if maybe I make that connection for you.
Absolutely.
For him to help you find a commercial deal. You won't find a better person. He comes with a full team. His wife is the closer. His son, he does the video, the drone, and their social media. Like, they got a team.
That's awesome.
It's very impressive. He was here. He was my first guest. and I give him credit for the name. I know I mentioned in the first episode, but we were at a men's meeting that Ty and I go to, and he knows how successful I've been and I am, and he was trying to motivate the team, and he just stood up in front of the fire and said, "You got to be a fucking sales warrior like Edelman, man. You just got to get out there and shake the trees.
Yeah.
If you're not a warrior, you just," and I literally just wrote it down because it just resonated with me. Hey, he knows that's who I am.
Yeah.
Wait, that's who me he's talking about. You get caught up in somebody else's moment. I didn't even realize at the moment he was talking about me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've been waiting 2 years, man. That's the name of my book. I'm good to go. Good to go. When do you think this move might take place? If you find
really, right now we're waiting on licensing. So it's
what kind of deep hole is that?
What do you mean by that?
Is it a money thing or is it just a cat and mouse weight game?
It's a cat and mouse weight game. It's all politics and people suing the licensing department, and that pushes things back. And everyone's rushing to get into this new industry. It's a gold rush right now.
And if I'm not mistaken, if you have a minority owner, you have a play. If you don't have a minority owner, you have no play.
Yeah. So my business partner is African American. So our business is majority minority owned. And that does help.
I heard things like they were giving 2 and 3 times convicted felons the opportunity.
So those who got their licenses first were people that were convicted of marijuana crimes.
Could you take them back to sitting in the joint? I'm spending 3 to 5 years here. That in 10 years from now, they're going to say, "We're sorry. Here, have a license." More or less. Yeah, more or less.
It's that to me is crazy. Because these people are not. A lot of them are not business owners. They don't know how to own and operate a business.
That's what I've heard too. Like it's almost like I understand why you're doing it. I get the why. But are you really putting the best person to succeed in position to succeed?
Yeah, that's the problem with it. In my
What do you
opinion.
know about incorporating? What do you know about licensing? What do you know about manufacturing? What do you know about processing, packaging? These are all things that I know are part of the business.
Yeah, the chemistry, making sure that this stuff's done right. Especially, we talked about gummies. Right. If you don't make gummies right, one gummy could have 50 milligrams, one could have 200. If you're not mixing that batch properly, one person's getting really high and one person's getting not high enough, So it's a lot that goes into it. You got to know what you're doing.
Do you see this regulations? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? What are you thinking?
New York's starting to open up, right now. They have over 100 stores opened already. And my personal opinion, within the next 5 years, it'll be like a liquor store. You'll see one on every corner.
Well, it's kind of weird because even before marijuana was, legal in New York, so to speak, there were shops in New York City that if they sold at a low potency, they could sell it legally. Yeah. And they were selling to tourists, and it was
under 0.3%. Right. So that was the CBD side of things.
It was the lowest grade. You're not getting high off. You're just stealing people's money, man. Yeah.
And then of course you saw, when New York decriminalized, you saw hundreds, if not thousands, of these stores open up illegally. And the cops go and they can't arrest them. It's decriminalized. So they give them a $5,000 fine, but they're making $50,000 a day.
Right.
They pay the fine, they move on.
Now they have mobile ones in the city.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Moving the campers.
Yep.
28-foot camper all rigged out. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But for me, as a kid of the 70s, weed was taboo. You didn't smoke here, you didn't smoke there. To see it come, to where it is now, and it's like, why wasn't it? Because I've heard nothing but medical intel from the CBD part, not the resin and stuff that gets you high. That medically, it's been proven time and time again that it's beneficial.
It was very unfortunate. There's a lot of theories as
those
to why
damn hippies gave it a bad name.
That's what happened, and you're starting to see it now with psychedelics, mushrooms and MDMA and, these things that were, if you take it once, you're going to become crazy, and there was all these crazy, mass media,
I personally, and again, I didn't think I was going to go this deep in this subject, but it does touch home. I never saw any of my friends who used weed go on to anything harder.
No.
Okay. I just didn't see them get addicted to other things. I didn't see them crash and burn their licenses. I didn't see them go to jail. I think it got a bad rap for whatever reason, but it's kind of nice now to see that, there's some value here.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's some feel good here. That's okay. You don't think because you drink your wine, you're any different than a person taking a gummy. It's the same damn thing. You want to take the edge off. You want to relax a little. Yeah. It's when you overdo it and do too much of it and you get behind the wheel. That's a different story.
Then it becomes a problem, But something like alcohol, you can go get a whole bottle of Tito's today, drink the whole thing, and kill yourself.
And nobody would say anything.
You could smoke a pound of weed today. You're going to wake up tomorrow and feel fine. Yeah. It's something you can't overdose on.
Yeah. Well, I never have. So would you say that your big win, a best new connection, was your new partners?
Absolutely. Yeah. Recently, yeah. And, of course, getting all the Jolly Green Oil stuff up in Walmart was a big win for us.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
So my big win, it's threefold. So I was at a Connecticut chamber meeting, met a gal who's from ESPN. Started talking to her because I saw ESPN. Just like a marketing person sees the word pods, they want to talk to me right away. All right. So, but my approach is way better because I was like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I wanted a container from you guys. I'm like, no kidding. Tell me about it. And I started getting some of this. She needed some help. She needed some assistance. That night, went back to the hotel room, jumped in, made some arrangements for her, sent her an email the next day. This is all set. You're good to go. You need anything, you give me a holler. I'm in commercial. She's residential. I didn't care. I wanted to make a connection.
Mm-hmm.
She emails me back the next day. Thank you so much. You're the best. What can I do to help you? Those are freaking magic words. It's a loaded word. And my immediate response is, because in my business, the biggest thing I can do is relocation, moving people from point A to point B. That is where I make my gobs of money. The one-off container that sits in your driveway for 30 days, not it.
Yeah.
The transfer of a container from New York to California, that's what I'm after.
Gotcha.
So I said to her, again, point blank, do you know someone in the relocation team at ESPN that handles your moving business? Specific, direct. Her email back was, no, but just so you know, ESPN does not do our moving. We are owned by Disney. Disney does it. I will reach out and find someone.
It's awesome.
She didn't just get me someone. She got me the head person. Senior VP of relocation for Disney in California. I was in Vegas. We had a call, got on the call. Wonderful call. Wonderful lady. She's telling me about the A business. I'm searching for the B business. Great connection. We're going to do business together. My next step is to thank the person that introduced me. Send her an email. So I send her an email. Eleanor, you're a charm. Appreciate you. I connected with Jenny. We're going to do some stuff together. I couldn't be happier. The next time I'm in Bristol, you and I are going to dinner. Wherever you want to go. The next email from her is, guess what? I just spoke to our facilities manager. Now, I'm on vacation this week, but when I get back next week, he wants to talk to you. He has storage needs, and he wants to talk to you. All because I'm a nice person. I care. I care. I show I'm willing to dive in on my off time at 7 o'clock at night and look at your account, see what I could do to help you. I thank you for an introduction. You do all the right things, and it doesn't happen every time.
Yeah.
But that second connection, I said it was threefold, twofold. She gave me the Disney connection, and that went so wonderful. I didn't want anything else from this woman. She offered it. Why? Because of the way I responded, because of the way I conduct myself. She probably spoke to the woman out there, and she probably said, oh, he's a lovely guy. It was just that good of a conversation. How you present yourself in all meetings, whether on camera or not. And I get a lot of team meetings, and people don't want to put the camera on. I demand it. Put your camera on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put your camera on. I want to look in your eyes when I'm talking to you. I want you to look into my eyes when you're talking to me. Why? Because you can read into people's eyes. You can see if they're full of shit or they're being true to the heart.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling you what's best. And having a blank screen up there, I won't do it. I actually won't do it. I'll walk. Well, let me know when you're available, on a Zoom call, because it's too important when you have that meeting You only get one chance at the first impression.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And to mess it up on a call when you could have been Zooming,
Yeah.
invaluable.
That's something that we implemented recently in my business. Is after we have that initial phone call, we try to set up a Zoom, and that face-to-face connection is just
100%.
our sales conversion rates skyrocketed.
You got to promote that. And you know what? I could go back to last week's tips, and go into the book on network. Go to that chapter and share with your team. Comb your hair before you get on a Zoom call. Check your shirt. Make sure your buttons are buttoned evenly, not unevenly.
Look presentable.
Little details. I notice them. Why? Because I'm anal. Yeah. I notice crap. I don't notice stupid shit that I talk to my wife about afterwards. And she's like, "Really? You paid attention?" I'm like, "I don't know. It was there. What can I tell you? It was right there." Where do you see the most success coming from in your near future? Where is it?
Probably with the cannabis licensing. The market is huge. We saw a single dispensary doing around $2 million a week in sales. And it's crazy amounts of money.
So building websites for guys like me is going to be a thing of your past.
It was, that's where I got started. When I was 17, I started my marketing company, and I actually sold that company to a larger marketing company when I was 18, and that's where I got the money to start, into this industry. But I still help people out here and there, like Ty introduced me to you, and he said,
"Yeah, well,
website,
you know what? We're going to update the website. We're going to get your promotions all over it, because when I designed that website, one of the things I'm most proud of, and I mean this." Speaking topics.
Yeah.
I spoke to someone and they asked me that question. What are your speaking topics? Yeah. Check out the link. Click Speaking topics. Yep. I was so proud to be able to do that. I mean, I have you to thank, but knowing how important that is, people are going to ask that question and being able to just play.
Yeah.
I didn't bring them. Well, actually, it's in my jacket, but I now have a business card. This is on the front. And on the other side, a QR code to the book sale.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I got the website and all that. But, just trying to tie everything in, trying to be I can't even say it. Technically savant. trying to stay with the times, people that keep asking me, when are you going to drop your episodes? And I'm like, no, I got to do a season. Got to get a season together. I need 6 episodes. That's part of first season. I have this way of doing it. It's methodical. And it's at a pace, and it's at my pace. Why? Because I have a full-time job. I sell for pods.
Yeah.
I'm a $6 million man. I got to keep up that $6 million sales to be able to afford to do this stuff.
Absolutely.
Because this stuff isn't free yet. It will be. But, being able to afford this, I still got to focus on my day job. So, no bullshit. I'm here today. I went into work for 3 hours on Saturday and 4 hours on Sunday.
Got to make up the time.
And then I worked 4 hours this morning. Add those 3 together. It was an 11-hour day. I just spaced it over. I'm willing to sacrifice to try to bring this to light, to try to bring this to the next level. The next level is being asked to come into a company to speak to a sales team. Why? Because I can connect to people. That's the difference between myself and others is I know I can connect. I had a call with my daughter's school the other day. They're doing career night. I pitched them a new idea for career night. Who the hell am I to pitch them? You know why? Because their career night sucks. It's the same shit every year.
If you can improve upon it,
So I have a meeting with the head person. She says, "What's your idea?" I said, "I bring in 8 verticals. You give me 8 classrooms. We do this at night. We do 15-minute sessions in each classroom. Blue collar, white collar, medical, non-medical, just 6 to 8 different verticals where it's a 15-minute. This is what I do. This is how I got there. When we're done at the hour, we all go to the auditorium. And then we do a Q&A, and I run the Q&A with my guests and the students. But dive into the students. Make sure they ask their questions because students are always shy around them. I know my daughter. She's shy around adults. She won't ask questions. She'll ask me a million, but she won't ask a stranger a question. So try to make them comfortable and try to get them to ask about these particular verticals that maybe that's going to be their career path.
Yeah.
And then the kicker, we finish it off in the cafeteria for a free barbecue. As soon as I said that, all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I get it. The food." I'm like, "Yeah, the food. Tie in the food. So Well, listen, this has been different because my co-host wasn't here today. You have filled in admirably. I think you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
I want you to give a little closing remarks, promote your company, give a little shout out to the phone number and the website that we can find.
Absolutely. Check out the technology that we came out with, the AI, askmothernature.com, askmn.ai. Both of them will bring you there. It's free to use, and our goal is to create the world's most reliable source on plant medicine information. Something that everyone could use to get good information that's backed by science on different plant medicine.
What was that mushroom word again? The shit in the mushroom that's illegal but legal?
Psilocybin.
I got to do some research on that. I like that word.
That's next becoming legal.
Well, this has been Eddie from howtobecomeasaleswarrior.com. You could also buy my book on Amazon. It's been a great pleasure to be here. Hopefully we'll have Ty back here next week. And thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Absolutely.